Welcome to the Envelope's Emmy Contender Series. I'm Glenn Whipp, and today we're talking to Yvonne Strahovski, who plays Serena Joy Waterford on the TV series The Handmaid's Tale. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
When we last left off, well, you were in before the season 1 finale. But season 1 ends, and it's like Serena's telling Jun, you take care of my baby, I'll take care of yours. Mm-hmm. So what as the break in the seasons, what did you imagine as someone, what did you think was in store, and has that kind of played out for you? Or do you even think along those lines?
I mean, I don't.
Because we're off book now.
Well, people always ask me what my hopes and dreams are, for the future and what I would hope happens. I feel like I always come up with the cliched things, which is why I'm not a writer.
Yeah.
Which is why we leave Bruce Miller to that kind of thing.
Do we even have dreams? It's best not to,
It's best
right?
not to have dreams. It's more fun actually when we don't get to have hopes and dreams, when things are very tragic. We can.
So you're loving season 2.
I am. I love the intricacy of where it's going and where I know it's going to go, which is yet to be seen. But I love the strong theme of motherhood. And initially, when I had a lot of conversations with Bruce Miller about where we were going to go for Serena Joy in season 2, it was he talked a lot about this motherhood theme of Serena knowing that eventually Offred will hopefully be pregnant and her hope will be fulfilled. There's a hope. She does have a hope and dream of having this baby, and what that means for her and what it means to be a mother and to have that reality finally in her face, and what does it mean under the umbrella of Gilead as well. So it's a lot of these things I think that are coming up for Serena in everything that's happening and all the confrontations we're seeing, like the baby Angela situation that we just saw in the latest episode, things like that where she's asking herself, well, what would I do if this was my child,
I guess I should have said that if you haven't seen season 2, episode 8, you might want to just put this on pause, come back to it, because that's, this just aired 2 nights ago, I think.
Yeah.
And very heavy on your character, as the past couple of episodes have been. I guess for one thing, we learned that Serena's jam is Easy by the Commodores, right?
Serena's jam is Easy?
She's playing Easy, the Commodores song at the opening.
Of course, yes, I know. And then she loses that privilege.
Motown is maybe. So she was enjoying being in the study. Is that so? Music, that's lost.
Totally lost. I mean, the whole experience in the office is something that she hasn't had in a really long time. It's such a gift to regain that control and embellish in that part of herself again, because that was a huge part of herself not last time, but in pre-Gilead. And I think she sees it, giving that up as a huge sacrifice for the greater good, and that's kind of the through line that she keeps sticking to is, I know that this is difficult for me also, but what is the greater good and what is the finish line here? And that is a better world, a better environment, and healthy babies. So I'm going to make this sacrifice.
Is she starting to realize that the greater good that she envisioned pre-Gilead might not be so good?
I mean, I think the cracks are starting to form, but Serena, I think, is also very stubborn and committed to her faith, and I think there's a constant battle going on between that and her real emotions and what Gilead truly brings up for her as a human. And I think the humanity is really starting to show. But I always thought, she still has this one hope, and that is to have a child. And I still think that she thinks of that as the be-all and end-all solution that will make everything better and make everything happier for her. Maybe not realizing that consciously that It actually isn't. It's a Band-Aid solution, and it won't just all magically be better. It's still going to be Gilead. It still will be
Right.
oppressive.
Yeah, what's it going
her.
to be like for that child
Exactly.
growing up?
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, if it's a girl.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you see a scene early in the season with June saying, you know, I'm not going to let you, talking to the baby, saying, I'm not going to let you grow up here. You know, she has different ideas
Right.
for this child,
Yeah.
which could be a conflict in episodes 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Somewhere down, I can't, you know, who knows what's going to happen.
I'm just.
No, I mean, it's just interesting. As I'm talking about it, it's like, well, will 13, will the season end with the birth of the child? I wonder about that.
I don't know.
Or will they put that down to season 3? Yeah, that's not something, we're already probably venturing into like territory that people haven't quite caught up with yet. But
Yeah.
it's interesting because you saw early in the season this Aunt Lydia talking to Commander Waterford saying, you have 2 willful women under your roof here. And just basically kind of warning him to
Watch out.
watch out. And, you know, a couple episodes later, we see sort of an alliance between Serena and Jun.
Yeah, it's such a roller coaster ride this season, even more so than last season with their relationship. There's so much that I think they respect about each other and actually appreciate in a weird way, but they can just never cross that line of becoming true allies. It seems, you know, there just seems to be, every time they reach a bit of a high, it just seems to drop again, you know. And there was a great, very significant scene for me in the nursery. I think that was in, not in the last one, but a few episodes ago. I can't remember exactly which episode, but I think it sort of through Serena's eyes, it seemed like, wow, we're finally getting somewhere, Alfred and I, and I'm going to show her the nursery, something I'm proud of, and I want her to be proud of me and the nursery, and maybe we're friends here a little bit, but then Alfred utilizes that opportunity. She takes that moment to ask to see Hannah, and I wanted that to be such a betrayal to Serena, and that's the thing, like they can never be friends in the way that they want each other to be friends, you know, like Alfred is not going to be the person I want and need her to be under this Gilead roof. So it's amazing how it just keeps kind of going in and clashing and then falling apart again, and yeah, it's very tumultuous.
You keep calling her Alfred. I'm not going to use that name.
No, I keep calling. I'm the only one.
But you're right. That scene in the nursery, the look on your face when she brings up, you know, wanting to see her daughter, the look on your face, the anger and the betrayal, it's intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets intense on that set.
And does it?
Really? Yeah,
I mean,
it does.
what happens between takes?
You know, it depends on the scene. I mean, for the most part, we're quite normal, actually, surprisingly. But
You would think you'd have to be.
we joke around. Yeah, it's not all, you know, horrendous.
Between the
despair.
hangings and the
Yeah, I mean, we're fine. It's just, you know, usually, I mean, if there's a super intense scene, then, you know, we focus as you do. You tend to focus a little bit more and kind of zone out. But no, we're one big happy family in Gilead off camera.
Do you when you have those intense scenes with Elisabeth Moss, do you guys kind of keep separate before, because you've had just some very intense confrontations throughout the 2 seasons?
Sometimes, but sometimes we're, more often than not, I feel like we're discovering things as with each take, and so we, you know, we'll maybe talk about that and maybe layer up on it or try something different, because I mean, what's so amazing about the writing is that it offers, there's so much room to play, and there's really a lot of avenues that you can go down with the scenes, and they're so nuanced, and we want to keep making them nuanced in the performance and in the subtext, and there is a lot of that. So it's really, a lot of fine tuning in the takes and,
Yeah.
and playing with each of those avenues. And that's the most fun part, is really to get in there and play, especially when it's me and Elisabeth and we're doing those offered Serena scenes, and there's just so much power play and dynamic
yeah.
going on that, I mean, you could really do a lot of takes and kind of have every one of those takes be quite different because of the layers that we've built in that relationship.
Like the baby shower scene must have been a scene like that, where, yeah, the baby showers in Gilead are really weird, we've learned.
Very weird.
Everything is weird. Everything is awful and weird
Yeah.
and just horrible.
It is.
But and fraught with tension.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a scene where I could see, because Jun's nature is just, there's some sarcasm in there too, and she likes to get little digs in.
Yeah.
And but then you flash to this past episode 8, where there's some repercussions from what Jun and Serena have been doing. And Jun comes and knocks on the door at the end of that episode.
Yeah.
And it's not a scene between you and Elisabeth, but you're playing it on each side of the door, and each of you just deliver these really nuanced, there's a lot going on. Was that an interesting scene to play?
Definitely.
Like, in just there's so many different emotions in what Serena's feeling after her husband has just beaten her.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's such a touching moment, because because obviously Alfred June is sincerely wanting to help at this point. And I mean, Serena's just been to hell and back, and I think, and crumbled in a new way that we've never seen her crumble before. And in a lot of ways that she's putting herself back together and not wanting Alfred to see her in that way, but in a lot of ways what the commander wanted, the outcome that he wanted out of what he did to her, is achieved in that moment. Because the other alternative would have been to say, yes, actually, come in, I need a friend, I need a hug, I need someone.
Yeah.
Because you would, in that situation, you would want anybody to come and help you and make you feel better and comfort. And but it's so sad that Serena turns her away, which is exactly what I think the commander wanted, in terms of pitting the women against each other again. This is your role and this is your role, and you're not to confuse those things. And your role as women is to not be friends and partake in these, in writing and editing paperwork and coming up with new ideas. That's not your role. So it's to me, it seemed like the beginning of putting Serena back in her place, and it's working with that despair.
I have conflicted feelings about Serena,
I bet you do.
but less conflicted feelings about Commander Waterford.
Oh, yes.
Especially after this last episode. I mean, he's a tool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And you see, like in the flashbacks, that she's the brains in this couple.
Yeah.
And that gets back to some of these conflicted feelings. But I mean, where does she go with Fred after that episode?
Yeah, this is such a moment, I think, because it's almost like, well, this was like the final straw in a lot of ways, because how can you turn your back on a child, which is the only reason Serena was breaking the rules. She was breaking the rules for a baby who was struggling to survive and on the verge of dying. And how could he not want to do the same thing, especially because we are expecting our own. So it just, the fact that they're not even on the same page about that thing, when they, in Serena's eyes, they should be, I think is completely devastating.
Right.
Completely devastating.
Because for Serena, that's why Gilead exists. That's why
I mean, that was the whole
focus
point.
on reproduction, focus on motherhood. We need children.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, and I mean, not just from a practical point of view in that sense, but also her emotions and her humanity is starting to show because she knows she's going to be a mother, and these are all feelings that are arising for her from just an emotional point of view, and to have the commander not be on that same boat is, I think, incredibly confronting and disappointing in the extreme.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a total tool bag, which is so funny because Joe is the nicest guy.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure you've spoken to him. He's so nice and so not a creep, and he's just such a creep on the show. When I watch him, I'm like, wow, you're really gross. He's really gross, but he does that so well, even though he is absolutely not like that at all.
So he gives you a lot as an actor playing these.
Yeah, I mean, even when I watch him with other people in the scenes that I'm not in, I mean, even that great moment in that last episode where he walks in to see that Offred is not in her room. It's very brief, just the way he kind of stands in the room and you watch him realize he just oozes creep.
It was interesting to see. It was interesting to see her go down to the study at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
And I think it's about self-preservation at that point, right?
I think so
Serena
too.
has turned her away, and she just such a. Everybody needs to kind of look out for themselves, because, man, things can go bad quickly, as we've seen time and time again.
And that's exactly the sad point of how we all have to interact under Gilead rules. We all have to fend for ourselves because no one can really be your friend. Nobody is safe. Even someone like Serena, I think it's a huge realization for her, is that even as one of the, in the hierarchy of how this whole thing goes, as a woman, she's probably at the top of the food chain or very close. But look at what happens to her, what the commander does to her, and he's well within his rights to do something like that, and no one is safe.
We've seen another one of the wives sent away to the colonies too. So yeah, wives are at the top, but they don't really have that much. They're still women.
Yeah.
And in this society, that's easily disposed of.
Yeah, I think that's something that's still maybe dawning on Serena, because I imagine that her and Fred had a genuine, beautiful relationship, and we've seen a little bit of that in the past in the flashbacks. But I feel like when they first got to Gilead, they probably did break the rules here and there. They probably did meet up in the bedroom and have fun and do what normal couples do.
Yeah.
It's just as Gilead eats away at people and at men and the power position they're put in and everything that comes with that, it's eaten away at their relationship and that everything that they originally stood for as a couple and how they interacted to begin with. So I think it's still probably something that Serena is still grasping. I mean, it's like a kind of an abusive relationship where it takes so long often for people to realize that it's actually not good and you must step away.
Yeah, and that's part of the conflicting feelings you have toward that character.
Right.
And of course, it always goes back to she was the architect, or she helped bring about this society. It's hard to forget that, but you do want to like shake her and say, come on,
Yeah.
And we'll see, right?
We'll see.
Are those and you had the one flashback this season where, and that was could be a fun scene to play because it's just that intense book tour scene.
Yes.
But at least you said wardrobe change, hair change. It's like completely new, isn't it?
It is, and it always feels that way. It always feels really like it's not The Handmaid's Tale anymore. It was the same last season when we did flashbacks, because you're not wearing the Gilead. I feel like I'm much more comfortable, oddly, in the in like Gilead Serena than I am in flashback Serena mode. It just seems so foreign, but it's it's about finding that balance of where where does she sit in the flashbacks, and at which point in the lead up to Gilead being a reality is this moment, you know? And those scenes were so intense. The ones with the I'm blanking. My brain is not working right now. I have baby brain. With the what's it called? A protest.
Yeah.
And how intense the audience was, and the extras on that day, and how much they really
They
did
gave it their all, as you're
scream.
saying.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody threw something, right?
Yeah, I think a water bomb. Yeah.
Yeah. That was like season 1 flashback was kind of like you guys. There was like a romantic scene in there. It was a little bit more fun.
Palatable.
But then they were also plotting for the overthrow of America too. So
Yeah.
there was that too.
Right. Mustn't forget.
I see conflicting emotions conflicting feelings about this character.
Yeah.
So I've asked a lot of the questions that our fans, people on social media have asked. So I'm going to get to this lightning round thing that we ask everybody who comes in here. What was the last show that you binge watched?
Wild Wild Country.
Yeah. Okay, good one.
Yeah.
If you could go back and be on any TV show ever, what would it be?
God, any TV show ever.
I know. It's a big,
Oh my God, this is a hard one. I can't decide whether I should go like Cheese Ball, something that I was into when I was a teenager, or something classier than that.
I want to hear the cheese ball.
No.
That's where I'm going.
Oh.
Right.
Oh God, I think.
Do you want to pass and come back?
Let's get back to that one.
A lot of people watch TV to unwind. What do you do to unwind?
I don't watch TV to unwind. If I'm watching TV to unwind, it's usually not scripted television.
Yeah.
It's something that is, you know, like HGTV, flip or flop,
Right.
something like that. But I really am more of an outdoors to unwind person. Go and, you know, go for a walk on the beach or something. Surf, which I can't really do right now.
Right.
With my peanut / watermelon.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm not going to say the Gilead thing because that'd be wrong.
Blessed be the fruit.
Yeah, we don't want to. We want to get as far away from Gilead as we can.
Right.
What do you know now that you wish you knew on your first acting job?
Oh, everything. I mean, everything that I've learned in the last however many years I've been at this. You learn something on every job, like every single day. I feel like you go to work and we deal with so many different personalities, as anybody does in any job. But with this job, people talk so much about their innermost feelings, and things are on the line, and you're vulnerable, or you're having to do very challenging scenes that, it's not like you go to an office and you can pull that kind of thing off. So you're really on a different kind of level, and dealing with personalities at the height of all of that. So a lot of it is just sort of understanding people and human behavior, which is great. It working with the people that I get to work with teaches me so much about the job that I do, which is all about human behavior and the complexities of it.
Well, this has been a crazy, great season. I can't wait to see the next 5 episodes.
Yeah.
See where it goes.
Me too.
We'll have to have you back next year and talk
Yeah.
about that. And thanks for coming in today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, and for more of these Emmy conversations, you can go to latimes.com. Thank you for watching.